Hello and welcome back to another video. What we're going to do today is a Q&A. So I've got a bunch of questions here saved that I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer. If you're new to my channel, my name is Adam and I run a social media marketing agency. And on this channel, what I do is I put out content that should help you start your own agency to get some clients and to ultimately scale up to the six-figure mark. So with that being said, let's get into the first question. So question number one is, how many streams of income do you have? Hope that's not too personal. So like most people who have some form of an online income, I do have multiple sources of income. But to be honest, there's two main streams of income for me. There's my agency, which is my biggest source of income. And then there's my personal brand, which is a smaller percentage of my income. Inside my agency as well, we do a small amount of e-commerce as well. So we sell some digital products through there, but we just include that in the total number for the agency because it's a part of that company. And for anyone starting out and trying to make some form of money online, I would recommend just sticking to one thing at the start. You know, you often hear that, most millionaires have 6, 7, or 8 sources of income, and that is true, but they didn't start all 6 or 7 at the same time. These are ones that they've built up over time. And for example, with me, I started my agency over a year ago. I did freelancing before that, did a bunch of things before that. I only started my personal brand where I teach people how to start an agency a couple of months back. So I didn't start an agency and also start a personal brand. I started the agency, built that up to a decent income level, and then I started the personal brand. And you probably would have noticed from my content and from my Instagram, I don't heavily push my personal brand and I don't push my program that much, but nonetheless it is a form and a source of income. But back to my original point, if you are starting out, don't worry about having multiple sources of income. Just focus on one thing first, because it's better off to put your time and energy into one thing that will make you, let's say, 5, 6, 7k a month or a lot more, rather than trying to do 3 different things that will each make you 1 to 2k each. Diversifying your income is really important, but again, only do that once you've actually got one stream to be a decent amount of income. There's no point starting a business, getting it to 2k a month and then starting something else, because you've so much more potential with this stream of income right here. So put more time and effort into that one, and then when that's making you more, then you can look at starting another source of income. Okay, so question number 2 is, how do you stay motivated? So motivation really does come down to your why, like the literal reason why you want to make money and why you want to work. So for me, freedom is a huge element of that. It's time freedom, it's location freedom, and it's financial freedom. So a lot of the stuff I'm doing on a daily basis is to match that why. It's to work on stuff that I know will give future Adam time freedom, location freedom, and then most importantly, financial freedom. And I get this question quite a lot, and I think anybody who makes money online or has a successful business gets this question of, how do you stay motivated? And really, it just does come down to having a really strong why, because you can watch all the motivational videos, you can watch other YouTubers who are doing great, and you can see people who are doing great in your industry. But that's not going to be enough to actually get you results. That's a protagonist that will obviously make you feel motivated for a set period of time, but you have to find that motivation inside yourself. Motivation can be sparked by external factors, like seeing a video like this, but it's mainly going to come intrinsically from your own beliefs. So if you're struggling with motivation, don't get annoyed, don't be disappointed that you're not motivated, and sit down with yourself and look at your life and kind of look at the reasons why you might not be motivated, or why you don't have a very clear why that will keep you motivated. To be honest, I could talk about motivation all day, because it's just one of those things that you cannot get from an external source. You get a tiny amount from watching a motivational video or being surrounded, by like-minded individuals who are super motivated. But that alone is not going to be enough. You can be super motivated and live in a shack of a house with nobody around you who runs an online business, and you can make a lot of money. And you can be surrounded by a bunch of people who make a lot of money online in the same industry as you, and you might be demotivated, right? So again, it really does come down to you as a person. And the biggest thing I can say to you is focus on your why. If you don't know what your why is, don't stress about it. Just sit down with yourself, meditate, do some exercises to just really figure out why you want to make money. And you don't have to have some big philosophical why of I want to save the world, or I want to educate 1,000 people a year in underdeveloped countries. You don't have to have one of those big philosophical whys. If you do, it'll definitely help you. Your why could simply be, I want to make a load of money so I don't have to work a 9 to 5. Or I want to make a load of money so I can retire when I'm 30 or I'm 40. So be truthful. don't lie to yourself and find that why. Question number 3 is, do you have a university degree? Yes, I do. So I studied commerce, which is basically a general business degree. I did that in UCD in Dublin in Ireland. It was a 3-year course. I did 2.5 years in Ireland and then half a year in Singapore as an exchange program, which was really, really good. So I know if you're watching this, you want to find out, do I recommend college? Do I think you should go to college? What course you should do? And ultimately, college can be great. Look, it can be great. You know, I had some great experiences from it. I got to go to Mexico on a volunteer program that was through college. I also got to go on that exchange to Singapore for like 4 to 5 months. That was absolutely amazing. So there's definitely a lot of good things that can come out of college. There's a lot of opportunities you get that you wouldn't get if you didn't go to college. And that was definitely the case for me. In terms of learning, you know, in business, my degree definitely didn't benefit what I'm doing right now. You know, I studied things like accounting, marketing, finance, HR, and none of them have been applicable to what I do. Even hiring people in my own company, I have not pulled on anything that I learned in the HR class. Or having to do the books for my company. Learned none of that from doing financial accounting. So I think college is great for 2 things. Number 1 is if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or you want to have a specific profession that you literally need a degree to get. And the second part then is going to be experience and connections. You know, I've made a lot of connections through college. I've met a load of amazing people, a lot of people who are friends, and a lot of people who might be potential business partners and acquaintances over the next few years. To be honest, I went to college as a backup plan. I said I would do my degree just to kind of have it, you know, have that kind of piece to fall back on. But I don't think everyone needs to go to college, and I don't think everyone should. And question number 4 is, have you thought about starting a podcast? And yes, I definitely have. I've thought about this multiple times, and it's definitely something that I am going to do. I definitely will. Right now is not the best idea for me to go and start a podcast. The reason being is that I need to build my personal brand more before starting a podcast, in my opinion. I think it's better for me to put all my focus into my personal channel, get this to at least 10 or 20k subscribers before looking at having a second channel with a podcast. Now, it is something I absolutely love. Like, I listen to podcasts all the time, and I love the idea of having a podcast where I can just get on really, really inspirational people. You know, people who are doing really big things. And then let's say some guy who just started freelancing 3 months ago and he's making $4,000 a month. I'd love to get someone like that on as well, because you get this perspective from different stories. And with most podcasts, you only hear from the super successful people, you know, the people who are making $1 million a year, 2 million a year, 3 million a year. I think there's a lot of value to be gotten from people who are making less than that as well. And I think it puts a lot of perspective into the equation for people who are actually listening to the podcast. So most people who are listening to a business podcast may not be millionaires. Like, they may not be making even 6 figures. So to hear from someone who's maybe closer to their level, but has more freedom in their life and makes a little bit more money, I think that can be super inspirational. So definitely something I do want to do. Like I said, I think I need to focus my attention on building this channel and my personal brand before I do that. Obviously with a podcast as well, you can do it online. You know, you could do Zoom calls with your interviewees and things like that. But I think a physical podcast has more of a feel to it. So, you know, if I was to do one, I would like to have the availability to do it in person. But if you think I should drop a podcast in the next few months, you know, comment below, let me know. I would love to hear if you would listen. So if you have any questions that you want me to address, drop them in the comments below or DM them to me on Instagram, and I'll go through a few of them on the next Q&A. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.